Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is Tuesday the 26th of August and this video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. Today we will look at, as usual, start with the Nasdaq 100 that set back a little bit yesterday during session. There was a little bit of profit taking. So key will still be, can it stay above 22,950 and especially 22,673. I think general market will be fairly laid back or taking a breather until tomorrow after market, where Nvidia will release their earnings, and that could most likely move the market. I think we could see a quiet market until then. Here also pre-market, the US Nasdaq 100 also setting back a little bit, but still the support levels there at 22,943 and 22,665, especially that is a key support. On the on the S&P 500, we can see here it also set back a little bit during yesterday's session, so the picture is still the same, and the same with Dow Jones that set back a little bit more, but it is actually in a bullish trend after closing Friday higher. So expect a little bit of slow market or quiet market today unless something new emerges. We can see here this is the Dow Jones pre-market setting back a little bit, so there's still maybe some profit taking in the air. Seng in Asia session also a little bit set back this morning, about 0.3%, still bullish here. RSI in positive sentiment, likely to push higher in the coming days and weeks, but of course if it closes this gap here, we can see here, and that will be down. So let me just take this one and adjust it, so down to 25,339. Well, if it closes below that level, well, then we have a different situation where it could actually reverse trend, but it will be confirmed below 24,887. Nikkei bearish, it seems, slowly retracing. The future here is below the 42,520 support, dipping below the 38.2 retracement. I think we could see it dipping further, possibly down to around 41,330 area, where we have some support here at 41,280. If it takes out the yesterday's spike, then I think uptrend could resume and will be confirmed, of course, if it takes out the previous peak there at 43,930. In Europe, EUROSTOXX50 couldn't hold on to its positive day or bullish day Friday, set back yesterday 0.8%, and here pre-market we can see it's setting back further. Let's remove this on, it's obsolete now, so it seems like it couldn't really hold on. There's still positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence, indicating it should actually push higher, but it seems like fatigue or profit taking or nervousness or whatever it is has hit the European markets, and I actually think we will see EuroStoxx back to sliding back to 5,374, which is a 38.2 retracement of this uptrend here. I think we will see it being hit today. Then it could bounce, but let's see. Be careful not to catch a falling knife. Let's see about that. The DAX closed more or less on, well, a little bit setback. It did still above this rising trend line, falling trend line, sorry. But here pre-market we can see DAX is also setting back, and we could risk seeing testing 23,920 if we add a Fibonacci to this also. let's see what that does. We are currently around the 38.2 retracement at 24,092, but there is a risk down here. If it takes out that 23,920, and especially moving below the cloud, but I think with 23,900 closing below, then I think we could move into a bearish territory. So keep an eye on those levels. And the FX markets has been fairly quiet, but there has been some movement in euro dollar. It actually did, Friday close above 117, open above yesterday, but then suddenly sellers took control again. So there is a lot of fight going on around 117, and now look out for a 115.80. If it takes out that, well, then we could have a larger correction down to 115 possibly. So there's really some volatility going on. And also note that the RSI did not close above 60 threshold, so still in negative sentiment actually, and that is a little bit concern if you are long your dollar. I don't care if it goes up or down. I just try to read the market direction. However, let's see if it can get back above again. But it is a little bit strange it couldn't hold on there. So there seems to be a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fight going on. Sterling dollar, well, seems to be caught range bound a little bit. Also indecisive. It needs to get back above 136. If it does that, then I think we'll see uptrend resuming. But if it takes out the lows here, and I actually want to add a horizontal line just to mark it, that will most likely be a clear sign that downtrend has resumed, and we have established a downtrend with lower levels. There's a slight positive sentiment after this, but this is just marginal. So maybe it is a false break on it. So if RSI close back below 40 threshold, downtrend has resumed, and then there's potential to 130 to 40 level, 35 level, with a little bit of support here at 133.15. So not a clear picture, to be honest, on sterling dollar. The same on euro sterling, I could say, got rejected here around the 50% retracement at 86.70. Key support still down here at 86. Still positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating we should hit higher levels, but then it needs to take out the peak there yesterday at 86.75. Dollar yen, well, still this range, 148.55, and it is rising trend line here. Positive sentiment telling us it should push higher, but it seems like the 200 moving average really holding it down. So I expected some volatility within this range here between 148.55 and the 146.20 area, and just above the 55 moving average, giving some strong support there. Euro yen still in this range here between 173 and 171. Aussie yen, well, it is actually technically in a downtrend. Lower low, lower high, lower low, possibly lower high, unless it moves above 96.20. Maybe then it could resume uptrend. There's cloud support here, as you can see. So maybe the downside is limited. And there's still positive sentiment on the RSI indicating it could power, but hang on, we have a marginal negative sentiment there. So we are actually supporting this bearish trend. So let's see where that will take us. What you can also do, maybe it's forming a channel-like pattern here. We can try to add that to it and see. Oops, let's move that one there, and then we have this one here. So there is a channel-like pattern, falling channel-like pattern here on the Aussie yen. So maybe we will push lower, but then we have the 100 moving average coming up there. And another bit blurry sign. Sterling yen also can't make up its mind what it really wants to do, but it seems like still really strong resistance up here around the 200. That'd be really hard. Yes, it did spike higher, but it couldn't really set back. It did go below the 38.2 retracements, the positive sentiment on the RSI. So the indicators are a little bit all over the place. We can remove this channel, rising channel there, because it's broken out of it. It's obsolete now. So let's see. If it takes out the lows here from last week at 197.85, then we are looking at 197, possibly lower, maybe down to 196.15, but it really needs to take out 200 spot 30 to establish a strong, fairly strong bullish trend. So it is really struggling to do that at the moment. The Aussie dollar, well, it bounced up to 61.8 retracement at 65.10 of this sell-off there, and still key support here at just around 64.15. That is key if it takes out that, and it actually tells us it should do it because we have negative sentiment after being below 40 threshold there, and same over here. But it seems to be a very strong support. If it takes it out, well, then the 63.65 here is probably not the strongest support, and it could push lower. Let's see if it moves back above the clouds and close above and above the 55 moving average, then I think we could see it trying to establish a bullish trend. And if it takes out the peak there at 65.70, well, then it has been confirmed, the bullish trend. Dollar Canada, and also set back after moving higher, and actually in a higher high, higher low, higher high. So what will it do? We'll get a new higher low and then push higher. The RSI indication is that it will do that after breaking out of this triangle-like pattern a little bit earlier than normal in a triangle-like pattern, but still it did so, and could crawl higher here in the coming days. It found some support here at 50% of this uptrend there, retracement. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, then I think we'll see it setting back to at least 137.65, the 786 retracement here. We still have the 100 moving average trying to drag it lower, but 55 is rising. So I think we will see it crawling higher towards the 140 level here in the coming weeks, but won't be without struggle. Sterling Canada, still this sideways range here. So what I will do now, it seems like it's caught range bound here between 186.20 and 187.60. I always add a little bit and subtract a little bit to the downside. So if it takes out this minor support here, then we are looking at 185.50, which is 38.2 retracement. But positive sentiment, no divergence on the RSI, indicating likely high levels. If it takes out the peak there from last week, or a few days, last week, then we will most likely see it above 180 towards 189. On the Swiss franc and Euro Swiss, bit of volatility yesterday. Bounced from the 50%. Now it's dipped a bit lower again. We have the 55 and 100 moving average here. We have the cloud support. So it seems like there's really some fighting going on there. Who is going to win? Will it slide lower? And I think possibly. And when you see spikes like this, I'm thinking, okay, it's bounced quickly back, but if it takes it out once again, well, then we could see it pushing lower towards a 93. Other than that, if it takes out the spike up there yesterday, then it's likely it will test the 94.50 and possibly also push all the way up to 95 area, where we have the next resistance. Sometimes when you have this a little bit blurry picture without a clear direction. Dollar Swiss, well, let's adjust this a little bit. We key strong support here around 80, dipped below a couple of times, but bounced. So that's about, keeping it realizing, okay, will it actually push lower? But it didn't, and it dipped a bit below 79.93, and then it bounced. And if it takes out the peak up there, and I will actually add a horizontal line. And this is what you can only do sometimes when the picture is not clear. I mean, we have this descending triangle-like pattern. Well, is it a reversal or is it a continuation? Normally it's a continuation, but not all the time. So we have to be a little bit cautious, and it's also a very small one, a tight one. So not that clear, but nevertheless it's there. So if it takes out 81 here to the upside, then we could see a push back up to the 81.70, possibly all the way establishing a bullish trend towards 82.50. And we are in a positive sentiment, indicating we should see it pushing higher. The dollar index, range bound trading here between 97.45 and 98.50. I would actually say I would expand that to the 98.73 because it gives me a little bit more security if it bounces high. But also again, I think if it takes it out, given that we have RSI still in a positive sentiment, I think we will see it pushing higher towards 100. And gold trying to call higher, positive sentiment on the RSI. Despite we have some divergence, I think we will see it crawling higher towards 3,400 again. And let's just add a Fibonacci to this one. I know it will be a little bit cluttered, but it actually reached first 61.8 and then the setback, and now reached almost within a few pips the 786 retracement at 3,389. Key resistance here it is 3,410. Taking out that, then I think we will see it, especially closing above. Well, then we are looking at 3,440 and 3,500. I think that's the way we are moving. We can see that the moving averages, the 100, excuse me, 100 giving some strong support, and it's rising. 55 rising, 24 is moving around, breaking above the 55 moving average. So I think the bullish scenario is signal that we will see a bullish scenario here to continue higher. But again, there is a lot of fight going on, and it is not a clear signal, but nevertheless, I think the underlying trend is bullish. On silver, established a bullish trend, higher than here, higher low, higher than here. So we actually have established a bullish trend, positive sentiment on the RSI, and we are above 38.30 again. And the next one is the previous peak there at 39.50, 55. I think we will see it crawling higher towards that level here in the coming days and weeks. If it takes out the lows here at 36.95, well, then we have a completely different situation. The bullish picture has been demolished. On platinum, well, it still can't really get its mojo together to get higher. I mean, we should be happy that the that is not moving higher, because it will also hit us as a consumers. Not so much anymore, but still it will. And platinum trying to push higher here, spiked above, got set back, and the key test I think will be 1,400. Copper has 1.20%, 1.2% higher this morning. Could it move up to test 465? RSI moving higher. 465 is key resistance here. And where we can see the 200 moving average is virtually flat. You can always not see it hidden behind this trend line here, or horizontal line. So maybe we could get up there, or will it just still be moving sideways? That is a key question. WTI crude oil within few cents from the 38.2 retracement at 65.21 yesterday. Could set back now again. That would be key towards will it resume downtrend. If it takes out 61.94, then we're looking at 60 level, or could it bounce further up towards the 50% and then the 55 moving average. I think we should look for at Brent crude oil that it seems to be stronger in its moves. It's actually above 38.2 retracement, could push higher, but still RSI is below 60 threshold, so it could be limited in the upside, but don't rule out the fact that it could spike to the 61.8 retracement at 70 spot 34 and then set back, and maybe not with a close, and then RSI would still be below for 60 threshold, thereby being in a negative sentiment. If it starts sliding back below the 100 moving average here, then I think downtrend will resume, and it will be confirmed below $65 with a push towards $62.50. The European nat gas trying to push higher, and I mentioned it yesterday. We could see it higher towards the 786 retracement and the upper falling trend line here. Maybe we should adjust this a little bit. I think we could see it pushing up to that at around 34.50 area before another setback. However, if it takes out the lows from yesterday, then downtrend is likely to resume. The US nat gas, well, still in this falling wedge-like pattern here, and could still push towards 255, 256 level. On the interest rates, and US 10-year Treasury yields are still sideways here between 435 and 420. 420 is key support. On the European yields, still in a bullish trend, but setting back a little bit. But we are still in a bullish trend here with higher highs and higher lows. However, there's divergence on the RSI, indicating maybe it's exhausting a little bit. But if it takes out the peaks here from last week at 274, 275, well, then we will most likely see it higher to 283, possibly even higher. But let's see. I could also slide back a little bit. So again, a little bit of a blurry picture, but we are in a bullish trend. The UK 10 was closed yesterday. So let's see what it can do today. It hasn't opened today. 478 resistance up here. You see there's some strong resistance in this region here. That is key. If it takes out that, well, then we are looking at 481, possibly higher. Could set back a little bit after being rejected so many times at that level. Just very quickly look at the Japanese. This is the 30-year. Maybe forming a top and reversal short term, but it's in a bullish trend. On the crypto side, on the other hand, we have a fairly clear signal here with a move below 112,000 on Bitcoin. We are actually in a bearish trend, lower low there, and we have a lower high, and we have a new lower low. So I think we could see it pushing lower towards 107, possibly 104,250, which is the 161.8, and maybe possibly even back down here to the 100,000 level, key area. Also, Ethereum got smacked yesterday, forming this top and reverse like pattern. We already had indication of trend exhaustion. Could it set back all the way down to 4,000? 4,000 will be a kind of psychological level. I think we could actually see it dipping back down to that. However, if market moves back above 4,600-700, then I think uptrend could resume. But it needs to have RSI back above the falling trend line to showing us some stronger indication of just that. All right, that's all for today. Yes, a little bit of a blurry picture today on many markets, and that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes there's no clear picture, and maybe sometimes you need to sit back a little bit, and some of the best trades you do is the ones that you don't do. So be vigilant, be careful out there. Seems to be a lot of nervousness in the market at the moment. All right, that's all for now. Thank you and have a nice day.